Carols are much more than a simple Yuletide sing-song. They're cultural nuggets mined from everywhere in the musical spectrum, time capsules with all kinds of stories and histories behind them. Today, we're going to take a seasonal dip into the secret history of 5 carols. For example, did you know that this
Hark, the herald angels sing
was written by Mendelssohn about this? That's right, the tune for Hark the Herald Angels had nothing to do with Christmas. It was taken for a cantata that Mendelssohn wrote in 1840, celebrating the 400th anniversary of Gutenberg's invention of the printing press. The Festgesang's actual full title was, and excuse my pronunciation, Festgesang zur Eröffnung. Der am ersten Tage der vierten Säkularfeier der Erfindung der Buchdruckerkunst auf dem Marktplatz zu Leipzig stattfinden Feierlichkeiten? Snappy title, I know. The words themselves of the carol go further back to a hymn written by Charles Wesley in 1739, but it wasn't until 1855 when the musician William Hayward Cummings brought Wesley's words and Mendelssohn's music together for this magical mix. And all because nothing quite says Christmas like a printing press. We all know the remarkable and true story of German and English troops crossing the trenches Christmas 1914 in an unofficial truce and singing the carol Silent Night together during the early stages of the First World War. But far fewer know the actual and equally remarkable origin of the German carol. Stille Nacht had become a worldwide hit by the middle of the 19th century, but nobody knew where it came from. Haydn, Mozart and Bach and even Beethoven were proposed as possible composers. Silent Night! The true story finally emerged in 1854 after the Austrian government, yes, the Austrian government, started an inquiry to discover the carol's origins, which soon flushed out the true author, a schoolteacher called Franz Xaver Gruber. The actual story behind the carol's creation was rather surprising and rather magical. Someone's even made a nice little film about it. On Christmas Eve, 1816, Father Joseph Moore was desperate for a song to sing in church literally a few hours later. The story goes that the church organ was broken, and so the priest of St. Nicholas's Church in Obendorf approached the teacher Gruber with a poem he had written, Stille Nacht. The carol was hastily composed literally in a few hours, with Gruber writing it on guitar, due, as the legend tells it, and I should say only the legend tells it, to the broken organ. And they performed it that very night on Christmas Eve. All is bright. Presumably it went well, because from there the carol's fame rapidly spread, but without Gruber and Moore's names attached. And the carol even reached America in 1839 through a group of travelling Austrian singers. I love the fact that this carol was composed on the hoof, and I think therein lies the secret to the carol's simple effectiveness. This has always been one of my favourite carols. Talking of favourite carols, is that carol that's never been one of my favourite carols? Did you know that Jingle Bells was never originally a Christmas song? The original tune was composed by the American James Lord Pierpont in 1850 and titled For a One-Horse Open Sleigh as a Thanksgiving song. In fact, it's probably a drinking song. It's pretty rough and it's pretty bawdy in its original version. There's a lot in the original about riding a sleigh at high speed and nothing about Christmas. In fact, the original lyrics are remarkably un-Christmassy. At one point the boat crashes into the snow. I went out on the snow and on my back I fell.
A gent was riding by in a one-horse open sleigh. He laughed as their eyes sprawling live but quickly drove away.
Not exactly what you call the Christmas spirit. But then carols themselves didn't exactly have the most spiritual of roots. Quite the opposite, in fact. Carols have populist, even secular origins. So much so that they were banned from English churches for over 100 years. All except one. see, carolers or wassailers had a bad reputation, basically for going to well-off houses and, well, extorting money. Think, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we all want some figgy pudding, we won't go until we get some, and you get the general idea. But, for some reason, Where Shepherds Watch Their Flocks by Night was considered by the Anglican Church the only carol allowed to be sung in church until nearly the end of the 18th century. We can safely say nothing in this carol is making me want to go out wassailing. Similar historical context might be needed for understanding God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. I'd always thought this was a song about having a lie down after too much, merriment. Well, merry in the song's original context meant prosperous or bountiful, and rest didn't mean stop, it meant keep, as in rest assured. So the carol isn't inviting any kind of break, quite the opposite, it's telling him upstairs to keep the party going. Please like and subscribe, and please have a Merry Christmas.